Hi, I'm Mark Gilbert and this is Sun Speed. This weekend, Formula One hits Italy and the famous Monza track, and I'm joined by the voice of Sun Motorsport, Chris Hockley, to talk us through this weekend's action. So Chris, can we expect more Red Bull domination this weekend?
Well, do you know what, Mark? I think possibly not this weekend, because Monza is traditionally the worst circuit for Red Bull. Having said that, of course, Spa wasn't supposed to be too good for them either, and they ended up with a 1-2 there, so who knows?
How surprised have you been by Red Bull's domination? It wasn't too many years ago that they were considered pretty much also-rans.
That's right. Well, in fact, in the previous incarnation, they were the Jaguar Formula One team, and they were very much midfield runners. They've come such a long way in such a short time, and I mean, now they're setting the standard for everyone. And they seem to have most of the answers to most of the questions that most of the circuits are throwing up now. Incredibly impressive season.
That's right, Sebastian Vettel's won, I think, 7 out of the 12 races so far. So can we expect him to be on the podium again?
He's gonna be up there, isn't he? No doubt about it. I think both Red Bull drivers are going to be in with a shout this weekend, both Vettel and Webber. Let's not forget it was Monza 3 years ago where Vettel won his first race. He was driving for Toro Rosso then, very much a midfield team at the time. And it was pouring with rain. Now we've had a lousy European summer, quite likely to have rain again on Sunday at Monza. Maybe there'll be an action replay. As for Webber, he's just got a nice new Red Bull contract in his back pocket for next year. I think he'll chill out this weekend, relax, enjoy himself, and I think in that situation he's very dangerous.
Out of the rest of the pack, who can you see challenging strongest?
Well, it all depends, doesn't it, of which side of the bed Lewis Hamilton gets out on Sunday morning. Is he going to be good Lewis, the guy we know who can blitz everyone on the day? Or is he going to be bad Lewis, that we've seen quite a bit this season of a guy who keeps throwing away good results with pretty basic mistakes? That's going to be the key, I think. If he's good Lewis, then he's going to be out there, yeah.
You've just mentioned McLaren's problems this season, but Jenson Button probably has looked slightly better than Lewis Hamilton on a couple of occasions. How do you see him faring this weekend?
Well, recently, you know, he's been the man in McLaren. I mean, he's in the form of his life, Button, isn't he? And I mean, you know, I think, but for the qualifying cock-up at the last race at Spa, I think he'd have probably won there and made it 2 on the spin. And by the way, I'd have won a lot more money because I had Jenson each way in Spa, and was very pleased when he picked up 3rd place towards the end of the race. But yeah, I mean, you know, it could even be a McLaren 1-2 if they get everything right. Trouble is with McLaren, they seem to making these little niggling mistakes, like the qualifying one in Belgium that prevent them from, you know, banging in fantastic results. But no, they're going to be factors.
What about Ferrari? They'll be keen to impress on their home turf, and Fernando Alonso especially. Well,
they always go well at Monza. You know, I'm kind of old enough now, Mark, to remember the days when Ferrari at Monza used to be all sorts of suspicions about all sorts of little niggles about whether they gave the cars 2 engines or 8 wheels or whatever to make them faster in Italy. You know. They can't do that, obviously, these days. It's much more control. But 99.9% of the crowd will be cheering the Ferraris on, and they'll have their red flags and they'll have their homemade grandstands. Got to be worth half a second a lap to Alonso and Massa. So, yeah, particularly Alonso, I think, is going to be a factor. Possibly not for the win, though, in my opinion.
But what about Michael Schumacher going back to Italy? Obviously, all the history that he's got with Ferrari. Can Mercedes challenge, do you think?
Schumacher's still a big hero because of all those years of Ferrari domination. You know, the problem that Mercedes have got, it's a very strange one. They really don't know the ultimate pace of their car. If you look at their drivers, they've got Nico Rosberg. He's never won a Grand Prix. We still don't know. Nobody really knows how fast Nico is. Sometimes he looks great, sometimes he looks ordinary. You've got Schumacher, age 42 now, probably almost certainly past his best. I think most people would agree with that. So how can Mercedes bosses know exactly how fast that car is? You know, maybe unless they put a Vettel or a Hamilton in it. And that doesn't look likely in the near future. So it's very tricky for them to know where they're at. One thing's for sure, they're not going to challenge in Monza, Mark.
Do you think this will be the last time we see Michael Schumacher driving in Italy in F1?
He says not. He says he's got a contract for next year and he intends to honour it. A lot of his peers are saying, well, just leave the guy alone, he's enjoying himself, you know, he's coming back and he's doing what he wants to do. I see it slightly differently. I see him kind of actually getting in the way of getting another young driver into Formula One, which I'd like to see. Mercedes are indulging him. You could argue that, but I mean, it's a hell of a cost, isn't it? And lately he's been quite racy, and up there more or less with Rosberg. So the guy's obviously still got talent coming out of his pores, But it's a strange situation, one I'm not very comfortable with.
So come on, Chris, let me press you for an ultimate winner on Sunday. Who's going to emerge victorious?
Okay, Lewis is going to get out of bed on the right-hand side, which means he's going to be good Lewis. Okay, he's about due for a really good race, and I think if that's the case, he's going to sweep to victory quite comfortably. I wouldn't be surprised, as I said earlier, for a McLaren 1-2 actually, which would be great, and it's long overdue. So let's go. Lewis 1, Button 2, and Vettel obviously is going to be there in 3.
Here's hoping Hamilton's Bonza at Monza then. Don't forget, you can keep up with all the news ahead of the Monza race at thesun.co.uk/motorsport.